Our next guest on the Sports Hour show is Operations Manager at the Community Soccer Hub in Albion. He is also a residential youth worker and a personal support worker. Welcome to the show, to the Sports Hour show, Simon Reynolds.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on, Simon. How did the idea come about to start the Community Soccer Hub?
So I wasn't actually there for the start of it. I think it started as an idea within BRIMBANK City Council, who noticed that there was sort of like a lot of community groups who didn't have access to facilities, and a lot of demand for playing football. And a lot of sort of like different groups were coming to council asking if they could access the grounds, which, as you know, I don't know if you're a football fan, but they're very, very sought after, just patches of grass to play on. So, yeah, I think once they noticed that happening a lot, they sort of reached out to a bunch of different community organisations and community leaders. There was a few people that were kind of fundamental in it and just got the ball rolling. I was at the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre at the time, also running a football program. And so those at the BRIMBANK Council reached out to us at the ASRC and MyCare, IPC Health, Centre for Multicultural Youth, all sort of amazing organisations in the western suburbs of Melbourne. And they basically came up with this idea of the Community Soccer Hub, which meant that, and gave them access to where we play now, which is Selwyn Park in Albion. Basically it started from that, and it's been going ever since. That was actually like formally founded in about 2014.
And and how does the hub work? What does it look like? Do you guys train and play matches?
Yeah, it's basically all different things to all different people. We never really set out with like a plan of attack. Basically, it was always based on community need. So whenever a community group would come to us and say they want to do a certain thing, we would sort of just facilitate that. We did have I was helping with the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre team, which at the time was kind of homeless. So we would basically go from ground to ground until we got asked not to play there anymore. And then when we joined up with the BRIMBANK City Council and the Community Soccer Hub, we then had like a home change room. We got to feel like a real football club. And we do have like competitive teams that compete as part of the Community Soccer Hub. That team's called Albion Thunder. And they play in the Sunday League and also in the Melbourne Chinese Soccer Association. But we also just have like space for community groups to come and train. So there's all different options. Like you can come and play competitive football, or you can just have a friendly kick around. It's always fluid and always changing. At the moment, we have a few things in place. One of them is the Albion Thunder competitive team. We also have a thing called the Communities League, which was started 2 years ago. And it was basically a place for all those different community groups to play in a formal competition just against each other. So that started 2 years ago as 8 teams and is now 12 teams.
Wow.
And that's just an amazing thing to see, because that just means that people who, for various reasons, wouldn't have access to playing football, either financially or like we were talking about the grounds, can now play with their friends as part of their community in a competition. We award trophies and prizes and everything. So yeah, but that wasn't actually started by the Community Soccer Hub. That was started by leaders from community groups who wanted to form something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And Simon, can you describe to us all the different cultural backgrounds that are coming to this? And you mentioned there how it's grown so much. Yeah, can you tell us a bit about all the cultural backgrounds and how many people are actually coming from the community to play at Selwyn Park with the Community Soccer Hub?
It's crazy actually. I wouldn't even start to try and list like cultural groups individually because I don't want to miss any out. But basically, it reflects the culture of Brimbank, the culture of Melbourne's western suburbs. It's quite incredible, and you'll see that in the Communities League, that people who put their teams in as representing their cultural backgrounds. And like I said, there's 12 teams in that, so that might go some way to explaining how many different like cultures and communities are involved.
Yeah.
All up, like, because there's the different programs, it's hard to get like an exact count on how many people access it. But we did a survey last year, and there was like at least 500 people that were accessing the hub. So it's pretty amazing, and they're all people who otherwise, may not have been able to access playing sport, especially football.
Yeah. And what impact are you seeing the community soccer hub having on all these people from the community, being able to come together and play in a bit more of a structured environment where they can play the game they love? How important is it for them that you guys are doing this, and what are the effects you're seeing on them?
I think it's massive. Like there's well-known physical, psychological benefits of playing sport. Like I'm not a psychiatrist or a doctor or whatever, but like you can read about it. There's well-known social benefits, physical benefits, and you can see that. Like, I'm only involved in one group out of all of those groups, but just in the group, I can see people building confidence, making like lifelong friends, engaging in physical activity when they might not have otherwise been able to. And also, like, especially for people that are newly arrived, like, it's a great sort of home grounding to navigate, existence in a new country. So especially for my part of it, the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, it's something that is like, football is universal. So it's a good first place to sort of like, figure out your environment and your surroundings. And you can see that in all sorts of areas. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the objective of the hub? Is it to really those cultural backgrounds, to bring them together and really engage them with the community? What is the exact objective?
I think it's just about access, like using football as a vehicle for more social benefit, and without having a field to do that in, that's impossible. Or you can do it, but it's sort of like scattered all over the place. Yeah, I've forgotten the question, sorry.
Yeah, I'll ask you about, is that some of the issues and challenges you have not having enough access? What is that one? And what are some of the other issues and challenges you're facing?
So, well, we're really lucky because we have, like, through the Brimbank City Council, have access to an incredible facility. The field there, it's beautiful. Selwyn Park's magic, like,
yeah.
And it's super inspiring when you go down there on a Thursday night or a Sunday morning or whatever. But that is generally a big problem, I think, access to fields and access to facilities. And because I think a lot of, like, historically, a lot of those grounds and facilities have been tied up to clubs, which is totally fair enough. But the hub model is more about shared access rather than, like, one club or one organization sort of dominating who gets to play on it. So that's kind of the idea of it, is just about providing access, essentially. Yeah.
Yep. And we're talking to Simon Reynolds, who is the operation manager at the Community Soccer Hub in Albion, in the western suburbs of Melbourne. Can you tell us why people should engage with this and come down? Yeah.
That's a good question. It's just magic. It's just an amazing vibe down there. Like, just so many different characters and people, and the main thing, and football, which is like the best game in the world. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of just like a different way of doing things, I think. As far as I know, it's the only hub type setup in Victoria and possibly Australia. So it's just a unique sort of setup. It's a very good vibe. It's very welcoming. It's very fun. Not to say that other clubs aren't that, but it tries to be a little bit more deliberately open and accommodating to people who may be nervous about walking up to a really established club.
Yeah.
It's a bit more sort of like fluid, and it's more sort of run by those community groups. They tell us what they want, and we try to facilitate it. So yeah, and like everyone's welcome.
Yeah, and what's the soccer like there? Are there any prospects to look out for at Salvin Park?
Definitely. Yeah, we've definitely had people sort of been spotted playing in our Sunday league teams or Saturday teams or whatever, and move on to better clubs. But the idea is that everyone is welcome. So you won't be excluded if you've never played before, or if you're just learning how to play. That's something that we have to manage, like technical abilities and stuff. But yeah, the quality, it's good.
Yeah, I can imagine so many good players coming from different backgrounds and showing their skills.
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
Look.
Sorry?
Come down and have a look.
I will.
This lockdown lifts.
Yes, that's right. And how has the lockdown impacted the community soccer hub? Have you guys had to stop playing?
We just started again, and now we're sort of assessing what we can do at the moment, because Albion's not in one of the lockdown zones, but our players come from everywhere. And it's a bit confusing. We're sort of meeting today to figure out what to do. We cancelled training last night, but we're going to have a little catch up and see what we can decide. To be honest, I don't think it's going to be possible, but we'll do what we can. We just tried to maintain, in the previous lockdown before football resumed, we've got lots of WhatsApp groups and we kept in touch. We did lots of Zoom meetings with the players and stuff to try and keep the social stuff happening.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we just got cracking again with training. Amazing numbers, because everyone was so keen to come out and socialise and exercise after the lockdown. And now it's, happening again, I think.
Well, look, Simon, believe it or not, I actually used to play junior soccer at Salvin Park, probably about 5 years ago. Yeah. So I can guarantee you I'll be down for sure one day, and I'm sure many of our listeners will come. And after hearing what you've said about it, they'd love to come down.
Absolutely. Love to have you.
Yeah, brilliant. And can you tell us a bit about the value of volunteers? Like, this is a community soccer hub. You've spoken about how big it is. Can you tell us how valuable the volunteers are and how important they are to keeping everything going for the players?
It's pretty much everything. Like, in terms of the operation of the soccer hub, everyone who has something to do with it is volunteers. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're actually, because of how much it's expanded, and over the last couple of years, we definitely need more volunteers. Anyone that can come and help would be super appreciated, because it's a pretty small committee at the moment, but we're looking to definitely get more people in as it grows, and as we look to do different things, and as the communities come to us wanting to do different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there someone that's supporting you? The Community Soccer Hub, Park Soccer, is that one of your supporters?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit how they're supporting you and how valuable, that support is, that sort of support for you guys?
They're incredible. I don't know if you've looked into what they do or if the listeners know what they do, but basically they make footballs. They're beautifully designed footballs, but what they do is that for every ball that somebody buys, they donate to a project, and they send them all over the world to refugee camps, and it's just amazing. And
Wow.
Sam there, the guy who runs Park Football, got in touch with us and offered to supply us with like hundreds of these balls, which is like unbelievably valuable to a thing like what we're trying to do, because money's pretty tight, and the whole purpose of it is to keep costs down. So that could be thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And basically donated heaps of balls and came on board and is now kind of our official supplier. And so we're super grateful for that.
Yeah, that's brilliant that Park Football are supporting you guys like that.
Yeah.
And the Women's World Cup recently got announced for 2023 to be hosted by Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Is there women's soccer at the hub, and is that something that you guys are looking to increase in the participation numbers?
Definitely. We have a women's program. At the moment, it's like pretty social. They just train together on a Monday night, and they enter sort of like various tournaments and competitions and stuff. But we would love to have like a more competitive women's team and more women's players. It's just a matter of capacity at the moment, and that's what I was saying before about volunteers at the moment. Where we'd love more especially to help grow that program.
Yeah, absolutely. And how can people from the public touch base with you guys? You guys have a Facebook page as well?
Yes, we do. Just Community Soccer Hub on Facebook. I think it's the only one.
Yeah.
I try to keep it as updated as possible.
You do a tremendous job on the page. I've seen it, and it's really impressive. So I encourage everyone, all the listeners, to go and check it out. Thanks for joining us today, Simon. I really appreciate you speaking to us about the Community Soccer Hub in Albion. Thanks for coming on the Sports Hour Show.
Thank you, man. Loved it.
Cheers. And that was Simon Reynolds from the Community Soccer Hub in Albion, in BRIMBANK. He spoke to us a bit about what he's doing down there in Albion with the community groups. He's also a residential youth worker and a personal support worker. So thank you, Simon, once again for coming on the Sports Hour Show.
Thank you very much.